and go. It is 8:20 p.m. and welcome to my first 24 hours with the S26 Ultra. Let's get this unboxed, and it won't take long because there's never anything in the box except the phone. And this is, I reckon, the best color. This is the Cobalt Violet. I think there's a police helicopter outside. We do get a USB-C cable and some paperwork and a SIM ejector. Exciting stuff. So, unboxing done. Let's get out the flat and go and explore London with the new phone. But first, we need to make a stop. It is 9:10 though. I'm hoping they're still open. Pizza, beer, and a new phone. What a day. Also classic choice, margarita and a pepperoni. Can't beat it. Cheers. Now, if we're being honest, there isn't a whole lot new with the S26 Ultra. It's very iterative. Yes, we have the camera island and it's rounded and we have the new chip, but the main highlight really is this. This is the privacy display. It's the first time we've seen it on a mobile phone. It means you can look at whatever you want on the tube and no one will know what you're watching. I mean, that is pretty impressive, going from the S25 Ultra to the S26 Ultra with that privacy display. You just can't see it. You can have it full screen, you can have it for notifications, you can have it on an individual app basis, you can have it for your pins and passwords, but, and it's a big but, and I cannot lie, there's a couple of downsides. There's some compromises with this new privacy display. So this works because they've changed the sub-pixel structure. So we now have narrow pixels and wider pixels. It's a bit more complicated than that. But essentially, when you turn this on, it actually disables half of the screen's pixels. So you only then see what's straight on in front of you, but at the same time, it actually reduces the resolution significantly because we're only using half of the pixels, only half of them are emitting light, and also it reduces the phone's brightness. And also, the viewing angles are actually noticeably worse on the new phone. And you can see the brightness just drops off faster on the new one. You get a sort of slight purple sort of color shift there. It is a very cool feature. I think I will be using it quite a bit, especially with notifications, especially when entering passwords. And to be honest, whenever I'm watching anything on a plane or a train, I think I'll probably turn it on, but it's not without compromise. It lowers the resolution, it lowers the whole screen brightness, and also we are just getting fundamentally worse viewing angles this year. So that takes the shine off this fancy new feature a little bit. Anyway, let's go back to our little London adventure.
Let's go.
All right, sit rep, we are at about an hour 45 into our little first day with the S26 Ultra. We're in Trafalgar Square. It's at night, obviously, and it's pretty dark. So let's give this new video nightography a whirl and also see how much better it is than the S25 Ultra, if at all.
Let's go.
I'm not seeing a huge difference immediately, although you can't do a proper camera comparison looking at the phone screens. I'll have to take these off, look at my laptop. Slightly less blown out highlights in lamps and, bright areas. The old S25 Ultra also seems to have a lot more of a smeary, lens flare-y issue when looking at bright lights. And yes, I did make sure to clean the lenses on both phones. What about motion though? So we've got this bus. This first shot's a little bit better on the new phone, but then it's worse on the second shot. A little bit better on the third, about the same on the fourth. Not a major improvement there. Don't get me wrong, this is tough for all cameras, but Samsung are really pushing this low light nightography, and it just doesn't seem particularly better than before, with many of my photos coming out blurry and unusable.
I don't think the S26 Ultra's passed the Bryan Cranston test. I just took a bunch of photos, 1x, 3x, and the lighting's pretty good, but I think they're almost all blurry. And if my brand new phone, my S26 Ultra, can't get a photo of Bryan Cranston, then I don't know what the point of buying it is. Hopefully he comes back.
Have a look at this though. It's a portrait shot taken on the Samsung. Although actually this is the S25 Ultra. This is the S26 Ultra. And it is significantly more detailed. There's a lot more texture in their face, their clothing, their hair. But it almost looks over-sharpened now, and I don't like what it's done with the color. Now the main hardware difference this year is we have a wider aperture on the main 200 megapixel camera. It's gone from f1.7 down to f1.4, so that lets in a lot more light. The 5x telephoto also has a wider aperture, f2.9 I believe versus f3.4, so also brighter. The only sensor change is the 3x telephoto, but it is still a fairly small sensor compared to a lot of the Chinese rivals and their telephoto cameras. So is this new 3x telephoto better? Well, maybe a little bit. You can see the National Gallery there. That is a lot sharper on the new one. But then if you look at the sky, it's also a lot noisier.
All right, 1x, 3x. Let's get Big Ben there. Make sure he's targeted. 5. Zooming into 10. And let's go for a 30 as well, because, hey, the Samsungs are supposed to be good for zoom.
There is the saying that goes, comparison is the thief of joy. And just enjoy the thing you're using, your new phone, and not worry about how it compares to the old one and how it compares to everything else that you could have but didn't buy. But then if you're going to spend £1,279 on the new S26 Ultra, and you do have the option of buying other phones, including last year's one at probably a decent discount, I think it is worth throwing in some comparisons, even though no one is realistically upgrading year on year. And also, I'm just kind of curious how much better this one is. But with the right lighting, the right subject, and if you cross your fingers, you can get some terrific photos out of this.
We are 2 hours 15 in, and it is 10:30 at night. Is it bedtime yet? If you're ever in London, come to Soho. It's always the best place to take photos and videos. Now, if you're thinking, why does this look so flat and colorless? Well, it's because I'm shooting it in log, which isn't new for this year. You could do it on the previous Samsung, but there are now, I think, 4, 5 Luts presets. So previously you would go to the gallery after filming this, tap Galaxy Color Correct, and it would apply Samsung's own LUT. Or you could take it off the phone, put your laptop and apply your own. But now, on the phone, both before and after taking the shot, you can experiment with 5 different LUTs for different vibes. So I would definitely recommend having a play with shooting in log and applying one of these new LUTs, because it can just make your video look a lot more interesting and less like it was shot on a phone. Hey, it's me. So that was quite a lot of low-light photography stuff. There's a lot more to talk about with this phone. It's thinner, it's lighter, we've got the new chip, we have the 10-bit display, it can show more colors, and we also have to talk about the battery situation. But it's nearly midnight, so I think I'll see you in the morning.
Good morning. Fancy a little breakfast benchmarking session. Got the two phones. Obviously, the S26 Ultra has the new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy, which is the longest name of any chip ever in a phone. And running the Wildlife Extreme Stress Test, the results are actually a little bit underwhelming. Have a look at this. Percentage increase calculator. That's 9% faster for the peak score, which is about the same for the lowest score as well. But if you swipe down, firstly you'll see they both use 10% of the battery because they basically have the same battery. And the new one is a little bit faster in terms of the frame rate, 54 versus 49. Temperatures higher on the new one, slightly. Although in Geekbench, we are looking at an 18% uptake in single core and about 13% in multi-core, breaking the 10,000 mark. So yes, the new chip is faster, and of course there are other benefits to the ISP, a faster NPU for some of the Galaxy AI tasks, but it's not a night and day difference. Also, the new one loses points because this is the old one, this is the new one. the more sticky outy camera islandy thing means it actually wobbles even more on the table, kind of like a Fold 7 does. Doesn't pass the Bryan Cranston test, wobbles more on the table, is only 10% faster. Hopefully that's been the in-depth review that you've needed, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.
We haven't even played with the front camera yet, and I'm also shooting this in log because you can do that with the front camera, which is nice. Should we see what the audio eraser can do? It's not new for this year, cutting out that background sound from the videos I'm shooting, but what is new is that you can use it with third-party apps like Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, I suppose.
The defensive flick caused all kinds of problems.
Also, check this out. If I go to video and then tap on this little guy over here, which turns on the Super Steady mode, there's this new Horizon Lock Super Steady mode. If I type record and then fully rotate the phone a full 360 degrees, it's a little bit awkward there. Look at this. That is nuts. It stayed perfectly level to the horizon. Bloody Samsung adverts already. So we're at 15 hours 50 through my first day. This is Piccadilly Circus, but I am gonna now leave here because I've got about 4 phones on me, camera, tripod, and it's just gonna get nicked if I stay here. So let's bugger off. Cheers. Is there an analogy here with Guinness and Samsung phones that if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Because a lot of this hasn't changed. We have the same 5,000 mAh battery, which is the same since the S20 Ultra. 6 generations of phone. Same 5,000 mAh. It has progressively got a bit better with software, more efficient chips, but still, compared to some of the rivals from Oppo, Honor, Xiaomi, who are giving us 6,000-7,000 mAh batteries and proper 2-day battery lives, it's not bad. But given this is a 2026 flagship and it costs £1,280, I want this to keep up with all the other phones, which I could go out and buy instead. So no change to battery life, although we do now have faster charging. The Ultra is actually the first phone to support 60 watts. That's the fastest charging we've had from Samsung. And so if your charger is fast enough, this will now top up 15 minutes faster from 0 to 100 than the S25 Ultra. So a little bit quicker charging. And you know what else would have been nice? If they'd added magnets to the phone, like the ecosystem we have with MagSafe on Apple, like we have with the Pixel Snap on the new Pixels, where they build the magnets into the phone so you can use these magnetic accessories without a case. Now, Samsung say that the vast majority of people put cases on their phone, and all Samsung's cases have magnets built in, so you can use those accessories that way. And the compromise of adding magnets is it makes the phone a bit thicker. Of course, this does still have wireless charging and also reverse charging, so you can top up other devices. But because we don't have the magnets built in, we don't have Qi 2, and unless you put a case on it, you can't use those kind of MagSafe accessories. So same battery capacity, same 12 gigabytes of RAM, same 256 gigs of storage on the base model. Although if you go for the 1 terabyte, then you do get 16 gigs of RAM, but that's just to make accessing that larger storage capacity faster. New colors, slightly more rounded corners. It's a little bit thinner and lighter. The main difference, I suppose, is this little camera bump, or what they call the ambient camera island. What a name. So the cameras stick out just a little bit more, which is maybe why we are able to have the wider apertures. And to be fair, this is still a selling point of the Ultra. No other phone offers a stylus built into the phone. And actually it is a little bit thinner and lighter this year with a more rounded top to fit with this more rounded corner. But still no Bluetooth support. We lost that last year, which is a shame. So you can't remotely take photos by clicking the button, which was one of my favorite use cases of this. But then again, this is like the last remnant of the Galaxy Note series, particularly now we've lost that sort of squared off design. And also we have gone back to aluminium. This is their Armor aluminium, the same material they use in the Fold 7, the Trifold. So very much like Apple, they've ditched titanium, gone back to aluminium, which has saved, I think, 4 grams of weight. And it's still worth mentioning, the best anti-reflection screen on any phone. Like, you can use this outside so much more easily, and it takes a great picture of a pint of Guinness.
I'm also not going to bore you to death going through all the Galaxy AI features because there are a lot of them. I'm sure someone else will make a video with like 100 things that you can do with the Galaxy phone. The photo editing tools continue to be really good. I'm erasing the lady in the background here. And you can also have some fun with the generative AI. And you've got Bixby, you've got Gemini built in, and actually this is running Android 16 with Samsung's One UI 8.5. And credit to Samsung because they do offer best-in-class 7 years of OS updates for this, so really good support, and they also offer some pretty nice trade-in deals. And if you do fancy buying one, I will leave links in the description, and in some countries you can use my code to get 5% off, so definitely give that a try.
A bit of a strange request. Could you write a poem about getting a new phone? This is a new Samsung Galaxy phone.
Samsung Galaxy. And what's the good things about it?
It has a new privacy display. It's faster. The cameras are a bit better. It's just like a really.
And the privacy display meaning people can't see your phone.
Yes, it covers the screen a little bit. Yeah, that's right.
And you say it's fast in general, but
Yeah,
okay.
it's like a flagship phone, Samsung Galaxy, but it's also just a phone at the end of the day, right? Well, guess what? 24 hours and 30 minutes. We've gone over a little bit, but the good news is it's the end of the video and Brian Cranston came back out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you've got any questions about the S26 Ultra, drop a comment below. Hopefully you enjoyed this more vloggy style video, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.